Hello, everyone. Season 2, Episode 5, the Green Effect Podcast. We hit on some hot button topics. First thing, Ontario Lockdown 3.0. We're going to talk about who is really to blame for this. I think there's some stuff we're not talking about out there. We got to talk about who's actually to blame. Mortgage qualifying rate going up. Let's talk about what that means. Why is it only that as opposed to some other important things that are happening? We talk about the interview from the head of OSFI and what he said about it. And then finally, begrudgingly, I attended my first WebEx/Zoom wine and cheese meeting, appointment, party, whatever you want to call it. I attended my first one this week, and we talk a little bit about that. Here we go, episode number 5.
Welcome to the Green Effect Podcast. Finance, life, business, and everything in between. And now, your host, Stephen Green.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Green Effect Podcast, Season 2, Episode number 5. There is no shortage of stuff to talk about, especially if you are in Ontario. My God, have we ever seen what has gone on here? Have we ever seen that in our lifetime? So lockdown part 3, over a year now. I got some thoughts on this. So let's talk about this. First of all, there are people that are just in no-win situations. I feel so bad for our medical professionals, our nurses, our doctors, anyone who deals with something on the human body. Okay, I feel terrible for what they're going through. I also feel terrible for every resident in the province of Ontario. And let's talk about this a little bit because I think, so today it's Sunday, April the 18th. I'll just date that. Sunday, April the 18th, 2021, for people who will be listening to this podcast over and over again. And, I feel bad for everybody involved. And I really feel the residents of Ontario, everyone involved, we're almost victims. And let me explain that. There's protests going on in the streets, and people are refusing to follow rules. And, listen, you go to Walmart and towels are roped off because they're not essential. We have gone from insane to ludicrous. I feel bad for everybody. Here's where I think people are not talking enough about. Yes, everywhere has gone from flatten the curve to vaccine. This is Canada. Aren't we everybody's best friend in the world? Why are we not looking at our leaders? And this is going to come up during election time. Why are we not looking at Justin Trudeau, Doug Ford? Let's face it, the prime minister and the premier at ground zero for this pandemic disaster, fiasco, you name it. Why are we hearing in the media that we purchased all of these vaccines and our friends to the south of us are holding back 18.5 million doses? Like, what have we done to offend somebody to the point where we can't get any help? Like, and I know if there's anyone listening from BC or the Maritimes, what I'm about to say, it's not meant to be offensive or anything like that. A lot of business and stuff goes on in Ontario. We're the heaviest populated country. We've got the nation's capital. We've got the biggest city in the country. I'm not saying we're more important than anybody else. We do need the help. We need other countries to help us. Why? Why is the U.S. refusing to help? What have we done to them other than close our borders? Because right now, Ontario, as we speak, Sunday, April the 18th, 2021, We are what the US was exactly a year ago. And we were looking down on them like, man, you guys are crazy. What are you doing down there? I hate to say this, but have the Americans become the model of what should happen in this pandemic? Like, it's insane. I think we're asking the wrong questions. The protesting is going to happen, and I don't blame people. I'm at my wit's end. Like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm so frustrated. And, I have made a business decision that I am staying home for the next 5 weeks. I am going to do what they tell me to. Sheep or not, I am doing what they tell me to because, it's one of those things where I'm not mad at anybody other than our politicians. And I think that's where we have to be asking questions on an international stage. What have we done to people where we can't get enough vaccines to save our healthcare system, which I'm pretty sure is hurting for money right now? So, my message to everybody is this. Be a little bit kind. I know that our Canadian kind blood is running thin, if not on empty. I get it. But let's just make sure we're taking it out on the right people. Because if we keep doing the things that we're doing, we're going to keep hurting the people that don't deserve it. And I'll be honest with you, I came on this podcast not knowing where I was going with my point, but I think I've just captured it. So, just give that some thought. And I know, when we have our provincial government, here's all the rules, and in less than 24 hours, reversing the two big ones, that's leadership 101. You have lost credibility. And I'm not talking out against anybody. I'm just telling you leadership 101, right? This is where they are now losing credibility with people. So, I really think just try to be kind, folks. If you're going to support our local businesses, has anyone not realized that with what the Ford government has just done, we have forced our love to Amazon? Is anyone buying Amazon stock? Because I'm telling you, there's your stock tip for the week. Buy Amazon. I'm telling you. Okay, because they're about to go through the roof in Canada, or Ontario, I should say, because you can't buy dog toys at Walmart anymore. I guess Walmart, Amazon kind of, pick your big corporate poison. But, it's one of those things where, what are we doing? What are we doing? Right? And I think this is going to be, it's going to be a bit of a mess, and it's going to continue that way. So listen, folks, here's my message. Be kind, okay? Let's make sure we're getting angry at the right people. Okay, I wouldn't want to be a police officer right now. Those people, amazing, awesome, probably one of the toughest jobs out there, other than, probably a doctor or someone who, has that sort of high responsibility with other humans. And I think, it's if you're protesting in the street and stuff like that, just remember, man, they're doing their job, and that's all I got to say about that. So start asking questions. Ask questions of your politicians. What is going on that we are where we are right now? Because it's not good. It's not good. Try to be a little more Canadian if you can. Even I'm struggling with that right now, but try to be Canadian if you can. Moving on. Next topic. Let's talk about more good news. Hey, let's talk about the new qualifying rate. So more and more information is coming out. If you follow me on social media, I'm going to be posting a great video from Bloomberg.ca. And basically the head of OSFI, I'm sorry, his name has escaped me, has really come on and explained where they get their recommendation from to the government for this new qualifying rate at $5.25. So for those of you who have not listened to my last podcast, which I'm pretty sure is not many people, I mean, the listenership is huge. But what's ultimately happening is OSFI, who's the Ontario Superintendent for Financial Institutions, has recommended that the qualifying rate, in other words, the rate that you have to qualify at to get a mortgage, okay, for uninsured mortgages, so 20% down or more, be raised from 479 right now to 5.25. Small increase, not big. One point that they made, sorry, the gentleman who did the interview made, and this didn't register with me until he said it, but he's right. He said, the interviewer asked, well, what are you doing to deal with the housing market? We got a housing market out of control and multiples and exponential increases in prices and all that stuff. He said, we're OSFI. Our job is not to manage the housing market. Our job is to provide advice and recommendations to ensure the stability of our financial institution structure. So that's a key thing. So again, I think I'm on a bit of a kick right now around blaming the right people for problems. That's OSFI's job, is to control lenders and banks and stuff like that. So, housing market stuff, I don't want to begin to guess as to who we have to, knock on whose door to deal with that problem. However, there is only one way to slow down a housing market, and that's mortgage rules. So let's see what happens with this. I have a strong feeling that increasing a qualifying rate this little is only going to slap the first-time home buyers even more, and probably the second-time home buyers as well, who we kind of need them to move because we need their house to add more inventory to the very low inventory numbers out there. So, we'll see what happens with this. It's June 1st is the expected date. I don't know what's going to happen, if it's even going to do anything. I honestly feel that this will be just another blip on the radar, and I think people will figure out a way around it. You guys know I deal with a lot of investors, and they'll just figure it out. So we'll see what happens. 0.5%, it'll definitely bounce some people, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I got some miscellaneous bucket of things that we need to talk about here. Has anyone done a Zoom party or a WebEx party or a online platform party? I did my first one there the other night with a few friends from work, and I didn't really want to. I won't lie. I didn't really want to. I'm like, man, how much fun can you actually have on a Zoom WebEx party? It was actually kind of cool. I won't lie. So if you have a chance to do this, give it a try. It was actually not too bad. We had some great people on. It was a lot of fun. We talked about some stuff. What are you doing? How are things going? It's different, but you know what? It wasn't too bad. And I believe it was a wine and cheese event, but you got a BYOD and BYOF, bring your own food. But, it was actually not too bad. A couple of drinks in, and we had a lot of fun. I will say, just word to the wise, video conference etiquette. When you are not talking, you mute your microphone. Okay, so if you're on meetings and work or whatever, you always mute your microphone because, well, not only for the good of others, but you never want to let something slip that shouldn't be heard, and it gets heard. So nothing happened on our call, but just throwing it out there. So a couple of really small things I noticed, just my own observations. Listen, we're all Canadian. Can you guys all do everybody a favor? Because this has been happening a lot lately. Okay, write this down if you have to. When you come to a four-way stop, that is not the time to be the kind Canadian and let everybody else go. If you are to the right first, go. Don't wait. We almost had a 4-car pileup because people kept being nice and, no, you go. No, you go. No, you go. No, you go. And then, of course, I got tired of it, proceeded, and we almost had a 4-car nice Canadian pileup. Just go. Please, when it's your turn, just go. Final thing, and I don't know if this is indicative of what's happening in the world. For those old farts who still use Facebook, is Facebook even used if you're younger than 35? I don't know, man. Listen, if you're younger than 35 and you use Facebook, hit me up on Facebook. Okay, like my page just so I know it still works. But one thing I noticed is, have you gone to Facebook Marketplace? Okay, which is actually really past Kijiji, to be honest with you, for online selling of stuff. Have you noticed that there's just a lot of office furniture for sale? If you get a chance, pop to Facebook Marketplace and just look at all the office furniture for sale. Is that an indicator? And listen, I'm stretching this here, okay? But is that an indicator that there's a lot of people not going back? You know, are we unloading the office space and getting rid of the furniture and people are just not going back? I know there are people that ain't going back to the office. It's all going to be from home. So just food for thought. Have a look. If you need some cheap office furniture, man, now's the time to buy it. All right, that wraps it up, folks. The Green Effect Season 2, Episode 5. Again, listen, just be nice to each other. Make sure we are, as I've said when I used to coach competitive volleyball, because we don't do that anymore. First rule in leadership: place blame. Always place blame. Who is to blame? I'm saying that tongue in cheek, folks. It's not actual advice from Steven, kinda, but just remember that. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy. Stay well. And again, if you'd like to be on this show, you hit me up and open mic, it's all yours. Have an amazing week.
Thank you for listening to the Green Effect Podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or Google Play so you catch the next episode. And don't forget to leave a review. Much appreciated.